Hello everyone! Welcome to Sophisticated DIY. In today's video, I'm gonna go a little bit out of the way. I wanna show you how to shorten your jeans, keeping the original hem with the Eurohem. Sometimes we expend a lot of money in our craft and then we don't do anything for ourselves. This is why I'm making this video so you can have a very nice hem. So let's go. These are the jeans that I need to make the hem and they are pretty nice. I have them marked where the length should be. I remove my pin and then I'm gonna take a chalk and I'm gonna make sure to mark it exactly where the fold is. And here you go, I have my mark. This will be the length of the jeans. Now take your jeans and fold it by the creases and make sure to stretch them out in a flat surface. This step is very important to obtain a nice and straight hem. When you are sure that everything is good, I'm gonna mark it with my ruler. Let me show you first that all the seams are very aligned, so my pants is very nice. This one has one leg wider than the other. That happens sometimes. For a straight hem, you are gonna make sure that your line will be perpendicular to the back crease. And you are gonna do your second line, making sure that your ruler is perpendicular to the front crease. And that's it, you have it. Now you can use your scissor and cut both legs together. Yes, you need a good scissor for that. You can cut them one by one if you like. Right away, I'm gonna take one leg and I'm gonna pin it with its hem. And then I'm gonna take the other hem and I'm gonna open it. To open the hem, I use a blade. And for that, you have to be very careful. You have to practice because you can rip the fabric if you are not careful. But let me show you how I do it in a very easy way. I'm holding the hem with my legs and the edge of the table. That way I can pull the fabric so it will stay taut while I'm opening it. I make sure as well that my blade is a little bit tilted upwards, and like that I go little by little and I make sure to be a little bit more careful when I reach the side seams. This is too much material and you have to be very careful there. You see? Now my hem is open and my next step is to clean out all that excess of thread. I use the same blade to kind of brush it out and it gives me always very good results. Now my hem is clean and I'm gonna take a little bit of the thread and I'm gonna save it somewhere because that will be my sample for later on. Now I'm gonna pin my hem to its leg and I'm gonna take the other hem and I'm gonna do exactly the same, opening and cleaning. My next step is to cut the excess of material. Usually I cut at about 3/8 of the inch, which is the same as 1 centimeter, more or less. Some of my colleagues prefer to cut at 1/4 inch, but I feel that I can manage better the fabric if I do 3/8 of the inch. So, just do what you think it will be better for you. So I cut my old hem all around. I really eyeball it, but as you can see, it's about 3/8 of the inch, so it's good. Again, I'm gonna pin my hem to my leg and I'm gonna take the second one and I'm gonna do exactly the same. You can use a ruler to mark the line so it will be probably a little bit more exact and better finish if you like. Now that my hems are ready, I can go to my sewing machine to start sewing. I'm gonna pull my pants inside out because I feel like that way I can sew my hem in a more comfortable way. Sometimes the hem and your leg are not the same size. That can happen, for example, if you have a boot cut pants. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to measure the leg with the hem to see if they are the same size. And in my case, they are exactly the same size, so I can proceed and sew. But before sewing the whole thing, I'm gonna sew first the seams because all those seams are so thick, always move. So I'm gonna start by sewing the side seams and I'm gonna give you my trick. I'm gonna pin them and when I place them in the machine, I'm gonna drop the needle first and then I am gonna drop the foot. This works very well most of the time as the needle secures the right position. Let me see. Yes, it worked very well. Now I'm gonna do exactly the same thing at the other side seam. And I'm gonna give you another trick. I'm gonna cut the seam allowance. So one seam allowance, I'm gonna place it for one side and the other to the other side. And I'm gonna sew exactly the same as I did before. And oh yes, it works really good again. I can sew the rest of the hem. And I'm gonna give you my third trick. And this is very important. So let me show you. This is the original seam. Let me show you to you the other side. You see, this is where the jeans were sewn at the beginning before I opened. So taking into account that mark, I'm gonna stitch my hem just besides of this marked, like about 1/16 of the inch, just right besides, almost in the mark, but not really. If you do it that way, you will make sure to have a very, very beautiful Eurohem. I'm gonna sew all around, and this is what you have until now. Then I'm gonna do that with the other leg, and now is the time to retrieve the original thread and try to find a matching thread. This is not easy at all, but I think I found two that aren't bad, and I think this is the best one. So I'm gonna go back to my sewing machine, and now I'm gonna accommodate very well the hem because I'm gonna sew exactly over the original stitch. Another trick I can give you is to remove all the excess of material. You have to be careful because of course you don't want to cut the material that will be seen, but everything that is too much inside, you don't want it. So I'm gonna cut the excess of seam allowance in both sides. This step is pretty important in order to be able to really close those jeans, because that's tricky, because some of the jeans are very, very thick. If they are too thick, sometimes it's better to use the American hem that I can show to you in another video if you like. Then try to match all that seam with a hammer. Yes, a hammer. Well, a mallet will be a better idea. And now you just need to fold it and making sure that all the seam allowance will be cut inside of that hem. A little bit more of the hammer now that it's all folded. And I think the last trick of today is to use a button. You can place a button behind your foot or underneath just to level up, so you can sew that part that is so thick. So all around on top of the original seam, while you are sewing, try to make sure to tuck everything inside, and make sure as well to fold that hem exactly in the same way it was before. Use the hammer each time that you feel like you need it. And to finish again, I'm gonna use the button trick. Oops, don't worry, just put it again. I push it in a little bit this time so I can keep sewing. And this part, I'm doing it pretty much moving the wheel by hands because it's just too much of the material there. I finished my first hem and I think it's looking good. But before taking a good look, let's do the second leg. I finished now my second leg and my hem is done. As you can see, it's beautiful. For me and for my customers, this is the best way to do the Eurohem. It's so clean and nice. You don't have the seam allowance bothering you. It's really, really a nice job. And now you can do it yourself. Take it as another craft project for you. If you find this video useful or entertaining, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!